Hello guys, last time we created governance token with Timelock using OpenZeppelin, and now we want to create governance token compatible with Compound, and to do that we are accessing contracts wizard on OpenZeppelin. So we want to get the ERC20 code, here we are. So we'll set name for my token 3, for example. Okay, we'll premint 10,000 tokens. We'll add the features mintable, burnable, pausable, votes, and we will set roles. Okay, why is that? Because we want our contract to mint. We want to grant roles for the certain contracts also, and we would like to vote. So when we are ready, we can go to open in Remix. We can do it here. And we will compile the code. Okay, everything is right. We can go to the deployment section. We'll change to our contract also with injected Web3 because we want to send it network. Okay, we can deploy. Transaction will pop up and we will wait a little.
Done.
Okay, it's done. So now we can copy the address and we can try to verify it via source. We use Rinkeby, so we go for the Rinkeby.
Yeah, try is a keyword because usually it fails, but maybe it will work now.
Yeah, if not, we will show you the other way, how to deal with that.
Yep, looks like we have to use another way, so just skip that and go to the Defender.
Okay, so we can add the contract in Defender. We will name it as my token 3. Use Rinkeby, of course. And we'll copy paste the address of the contract we've deployed.
Sometimes even if you have an error, it's a good sign. It's still better than loading and never stopping, because after a few clicks it might get verified. It's really slow.
Okay, copy paste, and now the other way, we have to copy the ABI. We go to the compile section and we'll copy the ABI of our selected contract. Yes, token 3. Copy and paste. Great, it's pausable, so it means we chosen the pause function. We can add that if everything's okay.
Yeah,
all right,
so
first step. Now we have to create also the governor contract, so we'll call it my governor 3, 1 block, 5 minutes for the voting period because we want it to be voted very quickly. We don't want to wait. So for the threshold it will be 5,000. And the quorum will get the number, the number, not the percent, of the 5. We'll go for the updatable settings, Bravo compatible, ERC20 as it is for the votes, and for the time lock we'll use Compound because we want to get the governor. Okay, so same step as before, open in Remix. We'll compile.
might need to optimize. It's a bigger contract now.
Okay, great. You can go for the deployment section, inject it with 3, and we'll choose the contract from my governor 3. And here in the deployment parameters, we can see that we need also the time lock, but we don't have it yet.
Yeah, so we need to create Timelock now, and if you watch the previous video where we used OpenZeppelin Timelock, there was an easy way of just going to the admin panel and creating Timelock here, but it will create an OpenZeppelin Timelock, not the compound Timelock. So to create compound one, we have a little hint here. It says that it needs compound Timelock, and all of the contracts we get from the OpenZeppelin contracts repository. So if we import the repository into our Visual Studio Code so that it's easier to browse, and we try to find comp Timelock, then I remember that somewhere there was a hint with a link to the implementation of compound Timelock on GitHub. So just trying to find it. Oh yeah, here it is. So if you checked the source code and stumbled upon the compound Timelock, you can see that there is a link to the implementation that we can use. And it's compound Timelock 2, so there was something wrong with my search, I guess. I searched by the file name, not interface or contract name. So now what we can do is open a new card with the link, and here we have the Timelock contract, which we can copy and add as a new contract here, and let's call it comp Timelock. So now we paste it, and first realize that we need to change temporarily the compiler version. So let's change it here, 0516, and we have the save month. That's because we already had it here. If it wasn't for that, you would have to go straight to OpenZeppelin contracts GitHub and just copy it, and be sure to browse the previous releases, not the master branch, to get an older version so that it works with the compiler. And keep in mind that if you use a newer version of Solidity, like 0.8 plus, I guess, so somewhere around there, they introduced safe math by default, so that you don't have to use the library, and all of the things are secure by default, so you don't have all of the overflows and other issues. So now where are we at? We have comp Timelock here, and we can deploy it so that we can use it in our governance contract. So we select Timelock, inject it with 3 to be sure that we deploy on Rinkeby, and now we have to pick set two variables, which are admin and delay. By design, we should make it so that the governor is the admin here, but we need to create Timelock first before we create governor. So temporarily we set the admin role to our MetaMask address as a temp admin, and then keeping in mind that we need to set the delay, and the delay must be higher than minimum delay, and also that we don't want to wait for 2 days before we can execute functions. We will change it for the demonstration purposes to say 1 minute, And then when we can save it, we have to pass the admin thing again. But now we have to pass a number that's bigger than minimum delay and maximum delay, which we're not gonna change. Let's keep it as 30 days so that you can set a delay up to 30 days, and we have grace period so that if something is queued, it must be executed within 14 days as checked here in execute transaction function. So now to demonstrate, if we set this delay input to 59, it should throw an error that delay must exceed minimum delay, but if it's greater or equal to 60, which is essentially 1 minute, then it will pass. So now waiting for the transaction to go through, and then we can go back to our government contract, whatever it was here. So now we have the address of the deployed contract. We copy it and go to recompile the my governor 3, because we changed the compiler version. We have to go back to the newer one, can be the latest. And when it's compiled, then we can go to the deployment section and paste the Timelock address.
Also, we need a token address for that, so we can go back to our OpenZeppelin Defender when we already created the contract, and we can get the app from.
Yeah.
It's my token 3, right? Okay, and we can do the Okay, so now when we have both our contracts, we can add them to OpenZeppelin Defender also, like we did with ERC20. We can also try to verify again, maybe it's working already.
No. Oh, so it's a good sign that we have the red arrow, but so if you click it for like 10 more times, it will. Oh, it went through. So it's cool that we will be able to show you the alternative now. Yeah, and here it is. It's the right one.
Yeah. Compound Timelock. I vote we can add. Okay, then let's head back for the time log. Yeah, in the remix we can also add it. Contract we already deployed. Maybe we can verify it.
Three more clicks probably, and it will go through. If not, let's just copy the API.
Yeah, but first copy paste the address before you took ABI. And the same steps. We go for the compilement section. And
yeah, that we have to recompile it now, I think, because it used the older Solidity version. Where is?
Change that again. Great, now ABI.
Making sure that we picked the right one. And you can also check here. So if the ABI looks suspicious, then it's probably the wrong one. But we see the pending admins and delays, so it must be the Timelock.
Those are the functions for our Timelock. Okay, so we can also grant some roles. We'll go for the ERC20 because here we can grant the minter role. Grant role, we can copy paste on the right.
Yeah, and if you can't see those roles, you probably picked the wrong, where is that? ERC20 access control. You probably picked ownable. So that's probably why.
Okay. So we'll grant the mint for the governor. EOA because we want to use it from our wallet account. We have an admin. Let's approve and execute. Okay, we can repeat because we want to add for the another address, the minter role. It will be Timelock. Again with UA.
Yeah, we experimented with the roles a bit before, and looks like we need a minter role for governor to create proposals, and we need the minter role for the Timelock to execute those proposals. So if you don't grant, if you skip granting the minter role to the governor, the proposals won't go through. But now as it's all set and we have the minter roles, I think that we can set up the Timelock, because as you probably remember, we started with setting the temporary admin, and we set it to our MetaMask account. But what we want to do is we want to change the admin so that it will be the governor who's the admin of the Timelock. And to do that, we have to go to the Timelock contract, create a new proposal. Managing admin roles is a bit trickier here in comparison to the OpenZeppelin version. And we need to first queue transaction. We need to target our Timelock. You can find it. I will just copy that. Value is 0 because it costs nothing. We need to set the use signature, and here we will select what function we want to invoke. So going back to Visual Studio Code, if we open comp Timelock, there's a set pending admin function we want to use. So to copy the signature, we just take this without the name, and we say that the name of the function is set pending admin, and it accepts one address type variable. What the function does, it sets a new address as a pending admin, and we do this through the queue transaction function, which queues the execution of this thing, and then we will execute it using the execute transaction. And as you can see, only the admin can do this, and we are the admins for now, our MetaMask account, so we'll be able to pass the role to somebody else. And that's about it. Let's get back to Defender. So we have the signature. Here we need data, and data is a bit more complicated, and I created a script that helps us with the data generation. So I have a template and doing this in a notepad, so no formatting, but it's a short script, so no problem. But what we want to do is first we need to get a script of the either script here. So we just type in either script online. We take one and paste it. Then we need to create the actual script using the iders library, and to do that we need a new function, and it's going to be get data equals async, and it will use the iders utils ABI coder, and of course it's gonna be a new one, and it's going to be a ABI coder, and then we're gonna get the data using another function from ABI coder now. So it's gonna be encode, and what happens here is the most important thing, because first in the ABI encode we pass the input name, so it's like address, and then we pass the actual address of whoever he wants to grant the admin pending admin role. So we will take the governor address, and we can find that in our Defender. I need to refresh, and here it is. So yeah, we can just paste it, and now we have the data, and also in this function we can just console log the data to see the actual variable and copy and paste it to Defender, and then we only need to execute the thing, and that's it. Now I'll find it in my files and open it in the browser. Here it is, and you can see that it printed, because of the console log, it printed the data that we can copy and paste here. Now this one is tricky too, but a bit less, and what it is when we create, when you queue a new transaction here, we need to set the eta, and it must be higher than current block stamp plus our minimal delay. So our minimal delay is 60 seconds, so we can set eta to like 180 seconds just to have a small buffer to be sure that the transaction will be queued. And then when it's queued and eta is the eta passed as specified in this requirement, then we can execute the transaction. So we'll have to wait like for 30-60 seconds for the eta to pass after queuing to execute. So now to do that, easy way is having like utility contract where it returns current block timestamp, and we can deploy it. We can even deploy it to, oh no, we actually have to deploy it to Rinkeby because we want to get the timestamp of the Rinkeby precisely. Looking for the contract, probably not compiled. It uses 0516, no problem. Then we deploy it, and we will get the current timestamp. And if we add like 180 seconds on top of that, we'll be sure that the queue transaction will have time to go through. Copying. Going back here, adding the 180. For now, EOA, the governor is not set up yet, and we can call it set pending admin to go free. Everything looks fine, so we can just queue it now. If it doesn't go through, it probably means that the 180 seconds or whatever you picked already passed, and you are too late to queue the transaction. So for production code, it's obviously better to set a longer time, but for demonstration purposes, we picked something short so that we don't sit here now and wait for 2 days to execute the queued function. And when it's all ready, we can execute the function, create the admin action in the meantime, and go to the Timelock 3. I meant to open it in new tab, but it seems broken. So I'll just copy all of the inputs here to my notepad, because we'll need them while executing the transaction. Because even though we click on repeat proposal and only change from queue to execute, and it accepts as the same interface, it all disappears. So now we need to execute the transaction. So we set the execute the transaction function. Now we select Timelock 3, and the value is 0 again, signature is the same, and data is the same, and also either. Now we can use the EOA because the governor is still not set up, and we can change the title to execute set pending admin to go free. Again, in the production environment, make sure to use better titles and description. So now we can execute it. The 180 seconds for sure have passed, so it should go through. And when you are done with this one, we probably only need to delegate our vaults, and then we are ready to create proposals and work with Tally. So delegating to myself, because even though the my MetaMask account currently holds 10,000 tokens, it doesn't necessarily mean that I have the voting power, because first I need to use the fact of having so many tokens to delegate the voting power to somebody, maybe to myself in this case. EOA to myself. Yep, so now we have everything set. The minter roles are set, and the pending role of the Timelock is now set to government contract. Though there's one thing we're missing, almost forgot. We need to go to governor 3 and create a new admin action where we accept the admin. Because what we did before was we queue and executed the pending admin, set pending admin function, which only changed the pending admin. And to actually have the real admin and to change the real admin, we need to have the person who's the pending admin execute the accept admin function, and then the admin gets replaced and pending admin is set to nobody. So we use it using governor and accept Timelock admin by governor 3. You can do the same things using Remix. Let's just stick to Defender. Though if you want, you can check all of the things here, and if you want, you can also add the deploy the Timelock contract here. Oh, it's actually here. Well, if it wasn't, you can just compile the contract and use the add address functionality instead of deploy on to connect to the existing instance. But now when we click on the admin, we get the address back, ends with 9D4, and it's probably the governor address. So now we are all set and we can move to Tally.
Okay, so to enter the Tally, we have to go to the website called with Tally, and we have to add new DAO.
Need to refresh, doesn't work.
Okay, so now we are choosing existing organization. No matter which one, we'll go for Aqua. So for the token, we deployed ERC20, so we'll choose ERC20. Token address, we can copy paste it from OpenZeppelin Defender. Yes, that's it. Also, we can go back and check the starting block deployment. To do that, view Explorer, Rinkeby scan, and the first transaction was. So here, if we enter, we got the block. We can copy that and paste it. Okay. So for the governance, we'll do the same thing. So here are our block deployment, governor Bravo, Rinkeby, and the address. Okay, so now we are ready to add DAO. Great, and we can go back to OpenZeppelin Defender to create proposal. Okay, so we have to enter our token, new proposal, admin action, and function min, because we want to min some of the token. We'll choose to which no matter which one, can't deploy that.
Maybe 100.
Yeah, maybe 100.
So we also need if to way
Converter, right? Because we have to put the information in way. Okay, and now we'll use our governor because it has everything. It's ready. Add Timelock. Okay, and the title minting 100 token. Go. Everything's set, so create an action. And we can send it to governor to begin voting process.
If this transaction doesn't want to go through, you probably forgot about the votes delegation, and you don't have enough voting power to create new proposals. Depends on what you set here. So we need 5,000 voting power here.
Yeah, but we minted 10,000 and got delegated, so we can do that.
Yeah, so the voting process has not started, but it will start soon after a minute.
Yeah, because it has a delay. So we can go to tally and we'll wait for the proposal to appear.
In the meantime, before we delegated the votes using Defender, but on tally you can also use this delegate vote button and just click on delegate to self, and then it does the same thing, and other users will probably use this method of getting their voting power. Okay, voting is ongoing, though tally needs some time. Oh, here it is.
It's active, great. So we can enter that. and we will vote. Okay, let's vote for, because we want for the 100 tokens to be minted.
I don't mind the voting power 0, it's just a bug. It's been like that for a few days.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's changed. We will get
Yes,
all
now we
the...
have to wait a little, because the tally has some problems with that. And the thing is, we set it 5 minutes, so we have to wait. Yeah, 5
Yeah,
minutes.
1 minute or 5 minutes. I don't even remember. Probably
I'm
one.
not sure.
But if you want to check all of the stuff regarding proposal, as you can see in the link in the path, you can see the proposal ID, which you can use in, let's say, Remix while checking things manually. So it takes a while for the vote to appear. Don't check our token and the status of the proposal here on Defender. Yeah, so the voting is still ongoing, and you can see that.
Yes, here are our votes. 10k, because we've minted 10k and delegated to self. Now we have to wait for the voting to end, and then we can queue and execute the proposal.
Yeah, and actually what we do here is we mint 100 tokens for somebody else for our second MetaMask account. So in the meantime, we could just open my token free in Block Explorer to see the tracker. So I either click here or change address to token and see the holders. For now, it's only one address who has 10,000 tokens, but soon, when we execute the proposal, there will be another holder with 100 tokens.
The vote is succeed. So now we can go to our main page, Aqua. Yes, we can scroll it down and manage proposals. So now we can queue. Okay, a transaction has started.
If it doesn't go through, just click F12 and you might have some errors with information about missing rows, since you probably haven't granted minter or any rows that are required.
Yes, that's right. But for the situation, it has confirmed. So now we can reload.
And probably waiting now for 1 minute because of the required reset.
Yes.
You can check the status. Yeah, so it's time locked. So now we have to wait for the specified time that you can see even on this page under the time lock details. So it's 1 minute here, and after 1 minute it will be ready to execute. And though one additional thing, if you remember, when you create governor, you set how much time the voting period takes. So that's why we waited for 5 minutes for the voting time to end. Yep, so now we can execute. So it
Success.
was executed.
Yeah.
Let's see if the status has changed. So not yet, but it will soon be executed, not queued. On Defender it probably changed. So yeah, it's executed, and now we can check who's the new holder here. And not yet available, but in several seconds.
Yes, but you can see that the percent.
Yeah, so there's somebody else holding the token, but not revealed yet. But in several seconds, if you refresh it, and as you can see here, we have 100 more minted tokens. So it went successfully. Also here, it's still queued, so yeah, all of the sites need to refresh the data on the blockchain. But now we can see the new holder, and in a few seconds you will probably see that the thing got executed on on Tally. So that's about it, and we don't have any more proposals to manage. It took some time, but if you do this for the first time, and especially without any help, it might be frustrating because we spent a lot of time to figure those things out. But when you learn it and when you know the right path, then it seems to be pretty easy. Okay, so we accomplished what we wanted. We minted new tokens using the governance strategy that's compatible with Compound, and we haven't used upgradable tokens yet in any of our guides, but we plan to do so, and we plan to create contracts built in Hardhat, in Visual Studio Code, contracts that are upgradable. So be sure to check the newest materials. Though if you want to learn more things about this case, then it's the best to check the description of the current video, where we put all of the documentations of Tally, OpenZeppelin, where you have a lot of information about this strategy. And also it's best to just import the OpenZeppelin contracts repository to your Visual Studio Code and just go through the code and see what's going on.
Yeah, so if it's not enough for you, you can just leave the question below in the comments. And thank you for your time.
Yeah, see you next time.